May your voice be heard, because sometimes the studios really are listening. Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times movie studios listen to fans.
So what? So we do nothing?
No, we are doing something. We can't save everyone in this war.
That means we're looking at instances where movie studios listen to fans or test audiences and change their movie to accommodate their demands. However, we're not necessarily saying that these changes were for the better. Alright, let's get to the list. Number 10. Rey's Lineage, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. The Force Awakens is often criticized for being a rehash of A New Hope, but it still raised some intriguing questions, primarily the lineage of Rey.
Whomever you're waiting for on Jakku, they're never coming back.
In The Force Awakens, Rey was a simple scavenger with a muddy past, and many people were quick to assume that her mysterious lineage would become important. However, this was infamously subverted by Rian Johnson, who made Rey's parents random nobodies who abandoned her on Jakku for, quote, drinking money.
You have no place in this story. You come from nothing.
It was a risk, but it didn't pay off. Fans were enraged, and The Rise of Skywalker turned her into the granddaughter of Emperor Palpatine. See, they didn't abandon her for drinking money, they were protecting her from her evil grandfather. Your mileage may vary with this one.
So be it, Jedi.
Number 9. A different editing style. Goodfellas. Sometimes test audiences actually know what they're talking about. Not all the time, mind you, but sometimes. Luckily, they are directly responsible for the manic last act of Goodfellas.
See that, Mike? See that helicopter? See it right there? Right in front of us there. I think it's been following me all morning.
Henry becomes an anxious wreck in the final act of the movie thanks to his abundant cocaine use, insomnia, and unrelenting paranoia. The test audiences found these sequences too drawn out in the original cut, so Martin Scorsese and editor Thelma Schoonmaker tightened up the pacing and added the signature jump cuts.
Yeah, it's done. I don't hear anything.
Come on, let's go back to Mother's.
The result was magnificent, a relentlessly paced and manic sequence that firmly places the viewer in Henry's drug-fueled and paranoid headspace. Number 8. License Revoked, License to Kill. It seems like everyone but the most ardent James Bond fans forget about Timothy Dalton's movies, The Living Daylights and 1989's License to Kill.
Will you help me?
How many men have you got?
Just you and me.
It's a fitting name, as License to Kill is easily the darkest and most brutally violent Bond movie ever made. But can you believe it was almost called License Revoked? That was the original name of the movie, and MGM even commissioned posters with the License Revoked title. However, fans hated and were left confused by the title, as they thought License Revoked referred to Bond's driver's license. MGM listened to the outrage and changed the title to License to Kill. Well, no one's confusing that with a driver's license. Number 7. Scott Leaves with Ramona, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Edgar Wright adapted Brian Lee O'Malley's Scott Pilgrim before it was even finished. And like another certain story that was adapted before it was finished, the ending was met with considerable backlash and controversy. In Edgar Wright and Michael Bacall's original ending, Scott ditches Ramona and gets back together with knives. This ending proved highly divisive, but things got even worse in July 2010 when O'Malley released the final chapter in the Scott Pilgrim series. In his ending, Scott reunites and leaves with Ramona.
You want to come with me?
Yeah. Thought maybe we could try again.
Discouraged by O'Malley's alternate ending and the poor reception to his, Edgar Wright decided to change the ending of his movie to match the one found in the comics. Number 6. Making Star Trek more Star Trek-y, Star Trek Beyond. The first 2 films in the rebooted Star Trek series certainly weren't bad, but they weren't very Star Trek. They were action blockbusters. Very well-made action blockbusters, yes, but Star Trek was never about the action.
You are suggesting that we utilize the passage between the approaching structures. This ship will not fit.
We'll fit.
Captain, we will not fit.
We'll fit! We'll fit!
Enter writer J.D. Payne, who stated that his script, quote, got back to the sense of exploration and wonder that the Star Trek series was known for.
How are we gonna get out of this one, Spock? We got no ship, no crew. Not the best odds.
We will do what we have always done, Jim. We will find hope in the impossible.
That said, Simon Pegg was then brought in to make the film more palatable, as, quote, the studio was worried that it might have been a little bit too Star Trek-y.
Means that I'm an officer of Starfleet's engineering division.
Engineering?
Aye, that's right. I fix things.
I know what is engineering.
Overall, the quality of the movie and dumbing down of the script aside, there is no denying that Beyond is certainly more old school in Star Trek than Into Darkness. Number 5. Ditching Victor Domashev, Fantastic Four. Comic book fans really take the source material seriously. Case in point, Fantastic Four.
Reed Richards, Victor Von Doom.
Before the movie was released, aka before we knew it was a flaming pile of garbage, it was rumored that Dr. Doom's real name would be Victor Domashev. This resulted in an insane amount of backlash, as fans were insistent that he retain his comic name of Victor Von Doom.
I think the fans heard that and said, "It's got to be Doom!" And they knew that. I think that was me.
Fox listened to the incensed fans, and Victor's name was changed during the reshoots to match the one found in the source material. Not that that really mattered.
Victor, don't do this!
There is no Victor. There is only Doom.
This movie needed way more changes than a simple name alteration. Number 4. Including a Xenomorph, Alien Covenant. By the time Covenant rolled around, the Alien franchise had long been dormant. We hadn't gotten a true scary alien film in decades, as Resurrection was some ridiculous B-movie nonsense and Prometheus was busy pondering the philosophical.
What do you hope to achieve by coming here? What we hope to achieve was to meet our makers, to get answers. Why they even made us in the first place.
Ridley Scott was on board with the direction, telling Yahoo Movies in 2014 that he was retiring the Xenomorph. However, the hostile reaction towards Prometheus made him rethink his plans. As such, Ridley Scott and screenwriter John Logan wished to return the series to its horror roots with Alien Covenant. After extensive script rewrites, the old Xenomorph was brought back in, and Alien Covenant had its signature mix of old-school thrills and philosophical musings.
Bravo! You have symphonies in you, brother.
Number 3. The DCEU stops being so dark. The DC Extended Universe. We get what the DCEU was trying to do, and we respect it, but it just wasn't working. To compete with Marvel's lighter fare, DC released the dark, dreary, and critically disappointing Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Suicide Squad.
Blah, 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 blah. All of that chit-chat's gonna get you hurt.
All 3 of these movies, while ultimately profitable, still underperformed at the box office, and it became clear that general audiences weren't enjoying the DCEU brand. So they changed it.
You gotta put the sword down, Diana, please.
It doesn't go with the outfit.
At all. Put the sword down.
After Suicide Squad was the lighter and better received Wonder Woman, followed by the Marvel-esque Aquaman and Shazam.
Oh, hey there, son. Oh, and hey there, other son that I also have that's related to that son I just passed in the hallway.
Even Justice League was quippier and more colorful than its gloomy predecessors. A clear attempt at making the brand more family-friendly and accessible.
Any blowback?
Big time. But I think we could take it.
Good. 'Cause I really like being alive.
Number 2. Reducing Jar Jar's role. The Star Wars prequel trilogy. Modern fans may bemoan The Last Jedi, but that is nothing compared to the absolute furor surrounding The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
You saved my again!
What's this?
A local.
These movies were considered total travesties, and much of the blame was aimed squarely at a specific character. Poor Jar Jar Binks.
How rude.
Jar Jar was the most hated character in the world following The Phantom Menace, and his terrible mistakes in Attack of the Clones certainly didn't help his reputation. Due to the intense backlash, actor Ahmed Best recommended that George Lucas kill off Jar Jar in Revenge of the Sith. His recommendation was not answered, but Jar Jar's role was significantly reduced, and numerous scenes involving the character were cut from the theatrical release. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Changing Sonic, Sonic the Hedgehog. It was a long time coming, but in 2019, we finally got our first glimpse of the highly anticipated Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Gotta go fast.
And it was not great. Let's be serious. The expectations of Sonic fans have long been lowered, but even the lowest of expectations couldn't brace us for what we were about to see. The humanoid Sonic design was utterly detested and quickly memed, and the trailer was bombarded with dislikes on YouTube. It was a certified PR nightmare for Sega and Paramount, and they instantly went into damage control mode. They quickly announced they were redesigning Sonic and subsequently delayed the movie. And yes, the redesign was considerably better.
I always want to do this. Nailed it!
At least we know they're serious about pleasing the fans. I mean, regardless of the overall quality of the Sonic movie, it is very impressive that they were willing to redesign their entire main character based on fan reaction. So, let me know, have you ever complained about something and they actually changed it based on your recommendation? Let me know in the comments, or come talk to me on my YouTube channel or on Twitter or Instagram at Rebecca Brayton. Also, please watch this other video.